Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and look what I have, a bag that I brought home from the local hobby shop. Very exciting, right? Well, actually it is, because this is a model that I've been trying to hunt down for a while, and that is the Lord Terminos from the new Skaven Tide box set. So, the Lord Terminos here in all of his various parted out pieces and glory is one of the very few models that is not included in any of the other various starter sets, introductory sets, what have you. Much like the previously shown on this channel, at least, Reclusians who are so reclusive they have yet to actually get painted. No, I was holding out, waiting for this guy to show up because I knew I'd get him eventually. So now I can paint those Reclusians and I can deal with that awful gap, but that's a whole different story. Alright, so whoever was the previous owner and decided to part everything out, thank you for at least snipping everything off the sprues and letting me do the rest of the job. The big crowning centerpiece for the Lord Terminos is his big honkin' Sigmar axe here, along with a really flashy cape. Sadly, none of the scrolls, whatever purity symbol seal thingies that all of the Stormcast Eternals carry with them these days seem to have all of the fancy little filigree writing. It's like you can see on this guy, who is a precursor to the current look of the Stormcast that Mr. Percival Sparkletrout painted up ages ago, and I've had him sitting around for the longest time. All of my Stormcast... No, he did that one too. Dang it. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't even know. One of us painted that. It's kind of sad. Maybe he can chime in, because I honestly don't know who painted it. I know I painted this one at least, but that's a whole different story. This is another one, I think. I don't know if he got put into any of the other sets when the Soul Wars or whatever came out. But let's take a look. So we've got the little display base plinth that the Lord Terminos is going to stand on. We've got the back of his armor. We've got his cape that is going to be flowing dramatically. We've got his skirt armor here. If you were to paint this all piece by piece, it would come out quite nice, I'm sure. A pair of feet for him. Not him yet. Chest plate and shoulders. Very elaborate looking. Out of focus shoulder pad with a giant skull face on it. And his spiky helmet that my finger is in the way of. With a collar, no less. So what are these other pieces? Well, you've got... Excuse me. Get the hiccups here. We've got his little sensor bearer, who's got an interesting mask in there. And is going to be carrying said sensors around. So if you manage to get the Reclusians and the Lord Terminos here, you're going to have a few fun little models that honestly, with very little work, would be great for some kind of chaos conversions. I mean, look at them. All the spike repentant looking dudes. Anyway, I am eager to put him together, so if you'd like to see how it turns out as well and try to hunt one down yourself, by all means, sit tight. We'll see how it turns out. Behold the Lord Terminos. Dude has some serious epicness going on there. The skull-like visage of his helmet. He's got the dramatic scrolls flapping in the wind there. He's got the lantern, little odds and ends attached, the spellbook tucked away. I didn't even notice that myself. I don't have things nice and glued together yet, you'll notice. There's big, obvious, noticeable gaps because I didn't really push fit everything all the way in just because I wanted to get a good idea of what to deal with. And yes, obviously, those nubs from the sprues are going to need to be cut down quite a bit as well. You can see the skull there on the base, Skaven skull on the other side, and a big honkin' axe. I don't know, he really seems to, he's got presence. It almost feels like, what's it called? Trajan Valoris, I think the guy's name was, the Custodes hero with like the big lion skin draped over himself. It seems like that to me, the kind of just that oomph for extra impressiveness on the tabletop. And I am looking for... That's what I wanted. A regular Stormcast, just to get you a good idea I should say a classic regular Stormcast Liberator. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the slimmed down, pared down armor of the Skaven type guys. And they've got the newer color scheme as well. I think both of these were painted by my brother Sparkle Trout. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did. It's entirely possible I painted one myself. I don't know. I can't recall. But that's not important. Again, you can get kind of an idea of just how big he is with that axe. Same size base. Using our heroic leader dude from the Soul Wars box. I forget what he's called. But again, also with a similarly epic cape and base. With the little reeds next to the skulls. And I also want to say that this guy wasn't ever included in any other set as well. He was only available in the main box set. I could be wrong. If you want to correct me, go right ahead. And I wish I had I can't find them. What is it? The Celestial... No. The Celestial Vindicators were the chamber that I painted all my Sigmar guys as. The Lord Celestant? Does that sound right? The Lord Chamberlain. They had the one that had like the lantern he was holding and had like a big pole arm and scrolls flapping everywhere crazy and a huge dramatic headdress. And once again, having our Reclusians, not as reclusive as their name suggests, making a great entourage to hang out with the Lord Terminos. Everybody's just got big ol' honkin' axes today. I know way back when we first got the Liberators, my brother had wanted to do a axe battler, axe armor guy from Castlevania. And I think now he can finally get his wish with all of the ridiculous axe heads that we have available with the Sigmar guys. Setting aside the big bulky dudes and grabbing our newest, well, he's got like a scale there with flaming stuff in it, smoking flaming hot balls. Because as you remember, the pendant looking almost chaos worshipping repentant type guy here only has a 1 urn sensor to fling, as well as the standard. And I mean, if you have the whole unit, or if you just pick these guys up on your own separately like I have, I mean, with everybody, you've got a fancy little making of a warband going on. And these newer guys are really nicely scaled with the more traditional 28/32 millimeter figures. You can see he's not overtly tall. He's also push fit. Everybody in the original Skaven Tide box is. And I mean, if you wanted to mix and match at least the human models with other stuff, if you scale things correctly, that should never be an issue. I was about to start grabbing 3D printed stuff, but you know what, I won't. Using a recent Wargames Atlantic Foot Knight and a Frostgrave Demon. When you get everything appropriately based, you can see looking quite nice in that regard. And I mean, so if you're looking for interesting, funky humans, or at least just fodder for whatever grimdark projects you have in mind, you can see they have some really nice armor. And I'm sure people can come up with some really cool stuff. And there really isn't much in the way of Sigmar-related paraphernalia or regalia on their actual outfits. The worst is he's got a little thunderbolt hanging off of his belt there. And that's not even the right guy. But same applies to our more embellished friend here that comes with the Lord Terminos. Trying to get a look in there. I could just take his arms off, but I don't remember how I put it together exactly. And I don't have a knife or anything to pry it off. I don't see anything overtly Sigmarish. He has a little thunderbolt in there too. That's it. That is the only other very Age of Sigmar distinction. Everything else you could probably get away with, and you can't really see that Thunderbolt anyways. So if you wanted to just do some funky and fun painting with these human figures, I think you're going to have a lot of opportunities and possibilities to do things with them. So if you are in the mood for a big, bad, brooding warlord type, I think the Lord Terminos is going to be a fun choice. And again, as of this moment at least, the only way you're going to get one is with the Skaven Tide big box. None of the starter sets, just the original Skaven Tide box, at least for the time being. Could we see him further down the line? You betcha. My personal hope is that we end up getting one that is going to be in a more action-based pose. I think that'd be really cool if he's heaving that axe over his shoulder or chopping it down or something dramatic and exciting. But yeah, I'll have to get everything cleaned up and actually glued together. But I might keep things apart for the time being just to make sure that I can get everything underneath that cape painted. So hopefully he will show up in a Monday weekly painting progress video in the near future, along with his ever so reclusive of Reclusian friends. And with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!